All right. And Rinpoche, whenever you'd like to begin, we'll wait for you.
Today that we'll have the session about the philosophy of Tantra. Am I right?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. As far as that the philosophy of Tantra. Yeah. Okay. So okay. And one thing is that before I start that today's the session, so what we do is that I will talk, then I will leave for some time for the question and answer session. So if you have any question, you can ask me after the session. Okay. So now the one thing. Okay, the one thing that what you all have to know about the one thing is that the first thing is that what the meaning of we are having the session of the Tantra of the philosophy. So you have to know that what exactly the meaning of Tantra, what the word the Tantra means, meaning of Tantra, okay? That's also important to know what is the meaning of the Tantra. Normally the Tantra means that the Tantra there's a two word, it's there in the Tantra. Tan means technically it means the body. Mantra means protecting. Tra means protecting. Tantra, protecting a body. Also, I think you have heard the term called the mantra. Mantra is more like it means that the protecting mind, the mantra, okay, protecting mind. So here the basic and the utmost philosophy of Tantra is the transforming the physical body and the mental perception. Transforming the physical body and the mental perception. So from the Tantra, it talks about the transforming our negative perception into the pure perception. So now the thing is that we are talking about that, talking about the transformation, transforming the mental perception. So transforming the mental perception is that from the Vajrayana, from the Vajrayana or from the Tantra point of view, that what we're having a negative perception, that's called the samsara. Once we are having a negative perception, we are in samsara. Once we can transform the negative perception into the pure perception, then we have achieved the enlightenment. So that is one of the main philosophy of Tantra. That is the main point you should get. Now the thing is that we will look at the one thing about that how and the when. That will come now a little bit. The more I have to explain. Now that's why now that we will go to the origin of the Tantra. Because the Tantra, normally, it considers as a secret practice, very secret practice. Why Tantra is a secret practice? Is a something, why it called a secret practice is that Tantra is a secret practice because Tantra is a secret. First, we will look the origin of the Tantra. Then we will know the how and how secret is that. At the time of the Buddha, there was one king called the king Indra-Bodhi. He visited Buddha and asked the Buddha the one thing. He really want to achieve the enlightenment beside leaving the kingdom, beside not leaving the kingdom, running his administration, being as a ruler, he want to achieve the enlightenment. And also, he want a very shortcut, very fast way to achieve the enlightenment. When he requested the Buddha some teaching which can lead him Buddhahood without leaving his surroundings or the palace, all this comfort zone what he are having. So Buddha saw him, he was very intelligent. So Buddha gave him the first Tantra teaching for that king. So that's why now what you have to know, the one important thing here is that about this teaching, among the different Buddhist tradition, even the historian have a different view and a different perspective on this point. Because there are many, I can't say the many, but numbers of the Buddhist tradition, numbers of the historians says that the Buddha never teach the Tantra, never. This story, they will not cooperate with this story, what I told you. From the Tibetan Buddhist system, yeah, that is the origin of the Tantra. That is the origin of the Tantra. So now here's the one question comes that whether Buddha really give the Tantra teaching or not. That's a question is that. So that is what we have to do is that for that we have to go back 1,000 years back, and we have to see whether really the great ancient Nalanda scholars, these practice the Tantra or not. Now, very interesting thing is that the Nagarjuna wrote the text regarding about the Tantra. Chandrakirti wrote the text regarding about the Tantra. Atisha wrote the text about the Tantra. And the great, the master like Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti, Atisha, they all the Vajrayana or the Tantra practitioner. Because the Nagarjuna considers as the one of the greatest Nalanda scholar who bring the Mahayanas, the idea, it's a Mahayana idea after the death of the Buddha, and explain the Mahayana idea, especially the idea of the emptiness, very precisely. So Nagarjuna also wrote the book about the Tantra. So that's why these old evidence prove that the Buddha have taught the Tantra. Number one, reason number one. Reason number 2 is that the very interesting thing is if you look at the Bodh Gaya temple, I'm not so sure had any of you have visited the Bodh Gaya temple. So have you visited the Bodh Gaya temple? Any of you? Okay, tell me who have not visited.
No, I have not visited.
Okay, anyway, so why I'm saying is that the Bodh Gaya temple, when you visit the Bodh Gaya temple, in the right corner of the Bodh Gaya temple, right corner of the Bodh Gaya temple, right corner of the Bodh Gaya temple, you will see the statue of the Tara. Tara is, I think, the female Buddha, female goddess or female Buddha. That clearly indicate that what it indicates is that the Vajrayana Tantra is practicing in Buddhist tradition. That means that Buddha have talked about the Tantra. That the Bodh Gaya temple is an archaeological proof that we are having that the ancient Buddhists, the practitioner, they practice the Tantra. Because if you, they are the saying that people tell that the Tantra came in the Buddhism much later, saying that, but these all archaeological, that's structures, these all proofs that the Tantra is practicing by the ancient, the Buddhist scholar. So still you can see the Tantra deity in the Bodh Gaya temple. That is the one thing. Now we will come that is the origin. I'm talking about the origin of the Tantra. Okay, origin of the Tantra. Yeah. Okay. So because I met many professors. In the Western, in the Eastern, especially the Buddhist professor. So while also that the talking with the different professors and the talking with the different Buddhist scholars and the tradition, especially if you look like a Sri Lanka and the Thai, these all Buddhist tradition, they never accept that the Buddha have taught the Vajrayana plus also Mahayana. They accept Buddha never give any teaching about the Mahayana. One time I was in the Sri Lanka and I met one very, very learned and a very, very scholar monk, Theravada monk, and we are talking. He was a chancellor of the one university in the Sri Lanka, Buddhist university. So very learned. So while I was talking with him, so I asked him the one question. Can you tell me some scholar, name of some Buddhist ancient scholar which comes from the Pali tradition? Because there we call the Theravadian tradition, they base on the Pali tradition, Theravadian tradition, ancient the Theravadian tradition, ancient the scholar of Theravadian tradition in India. So he told me the one very interesting answer. I really liked his answer. He told me that in the Theravadian tradition, we don't used to have like a scholar, what you have in the Mahayana tradition, like a Nagarjuna or Asanga or like that. Because in the Theravadian tradition, the ancestors will never create something new idea in the Buddhism. Never create something new idea in the Buddhism. Yeah, so that is the one thing that in the tradition. Now in the Mahayana tradition, these if Sri Lanka and the Thai, they never accept that Buddha have give teaching on the Mahayana tradition. Many scholars don't accept at this point. Now, especially the Tantra. Now, if you go from the Chinese, the Buddhist tradition, and with that, the Chinese Buddhist tradition, many of that tradition followers not accept that the Buddha give the teaching on Tantra. They never accept that. But this is the one thing you should know, very interesting point. So we have to do the more research on this field, more research. So that's why what research is, what we did is that the Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti, Atisha, these of the ancient great, the Nalanda scholars, they are practicing the Tantra. Not only they are practicing Tantra, they wrote the Tantra. They wrote the book of the Tantra. And they give the whole credit to the Buddha. Because they told based on the Buddha's, the Tantra's teaching. So they practiced. So yeah. Now you might think that why if that's a little bit like that's a different idea comes into that's the Buddhism idea, because this all issue comes mainly the one reason. One reason is that what language Buddha speaks. That is the one of the main issue. What language Buddha speaks. Ancient Tantra texts, Mahayana texts, all are written in the Sanskrit language. So they are lots of the great scholars. In the Buddhists, the great scholars, they says that Buddha never speak Sanskrit language. He speak only Pali language. In India, the Sanskrit is like a language speaks by the more like a noble peoples. Pali is a language speaks by the common people. So you can say like a common people language and the noble language, two languages. So I always say the one thing that do Buddha know the Sanskrit or not? That's the only. If he know the Sanskrit, why won't he give the teaching in the Sanskrit language to the person who cannot understand the Pali language? If the Buddha don't know the Sanskrit language, then we can say that Buddha never give teaching in Sanskrit language. If the Buddha knows the Sanskrit language, why he will not give the teaching in the Sanskrit language? That's the thing. So he knows the Sanskrit, the two reasons. Number one, he was a prince. Sanskrit is a language usually at that time that speaks by the noble people. So he was a prince, and obviously he was with a well education when he was in his palace. No, he learned all the warfare skills, and at that time he studied he learned the scholars to pay the visit in the palace to give the education. So that's the reason that he know the Sanskrit very well. Okay, so that's the issue. Okay, that is the thing. Now that is the origin of the Tantra. Okay, origin of Tantra. Now, because today what I'm giving a talk is I'm trying to give you the different perspective. Okay, different perspective. This session, I don't want to make this session as a pure Dharma, like a teaching, the traditional Dharma session. This I want to combine with throw you the different perspective, also give you the Vajrayana or Tantras, the idea, also talk about the practice. It will be the combine of the lecture or the traditional Dharma teaching, also sharing my practice experience. Okay, so this session I'm very happy that this session will be very different than the other teachings. So normally when I give teaching, I go more like a very traditional way to just not to throw the different perspectives. No, so this session that I want to throw you the different perspectives, and also to share my experience of the practicing, and also the traditional teaching. Okay, so that's why now up till here I throw the different perspectives on the Tantra. Now we will go a little bit like a traditional way teaching, okay? Traditional way of the teaching that for the receivers of the Tantra, the teachings, it's a very important to have the devotions or the faith, devotions of the faith. Here, the devotions of the faith is what mean by the devotion of the faith is that at least you should have the faith what you are doing. That means is, I will give you the one example. There is one very famous story in the Tibetan. There is one mother, and she used to invite her guru to say the prayers in her house. So when the guru comes in her house, the mother used to tell the guru, "Oh, you are my guru. I fully trust on you. I have a full faith on you. You are the one who have to lead me out of the samsara." She used to say that. Then she have to go out for the market to buy some vegetables and cook for the master the lunch. When she was going to the market and her guru was reciting in her house, then she went out and called her son, and she murmured into the son's ear, told the son that, "Watch carefully the guru. My guru might steal the money from our safe box." This is something we have the story saying. One side she is saying that she have the full trust. One side she have a slightly doubt on the master. So in the Vajrayana, so what you need a full trust. Full trust means that until that one you are not very sure that you are doing the wrong, you need a full trust. Otherwise, the doubt is something like that. It is like a really, in the Buddhism, the doubt, it's always, we call the doubt is as a ghost. It can hurt you anytime, especially when you are having the relation with whoever you maybe your partner. The relation with partner. It's very important to have the trust. Sometimes the slight of the doubt can destroy the whole your relation. So every relation should base on the trust. So that's why the Vajrayana guru and the student relation should base on the trust, faith. If you look at every relation, okay, just look at the kid. All the kids have one common thinking. The kid will think their parent is the best parent in the world. They have a trust on it. They have a faith on it. But when the moment the kids started to think that their parent is not best parent in the world, then it will affect their relation with their parent. It is not important whether it's a true or not, whether their parent is the best or not, but the belief, trust, it will help to build the bondage or relation between the children and the parents are very strong. Even the relation with your partner, trust is very important. So relation with the master, the Vajrayana, specular Tantra master, trust is very important. Faith is very important. So that's why it said that you should have a trust, faith on your master, trust and faith. But the one thing, once you see the very strong evidence, when you see the very strong logical reason that your master is not the right thing, so he said something wrong, then you don't have to follow that. That's something wrong, okay? Like an example, when your master say, "Oh, go and kill the cow," then you don't have to. They don't have to. So that is the one thing, okay? That is the one thing. So that's why okay, that is the one thing. Now the thing is that now when you're being as a Vajrayana practitioner, the most important thing is that every Vajrayana practitioner, you need a dedication. Dedication means you have to think, you will try your best to practice. So this is something not like doing the experiment. It is more like a dedicate to do some time, you may be 1 hour or 30 minutes or 40 minutes practice, okay, practicing. So experiment and the practice have a little different. Experiment is you are just like trying to see that what kind of the result you will get. You are not fully that trust that you can get the result. Practice is you should have a trust not only in the master, you should have a trust on your own practice. You should have the trust on the practice that you will get the result. I always say that I have a one trust in my mind that I will achieve. I can become a Buddha, maybe after a year later, maybe after 100 years later, maybe million years after. I don't care that when I can achieve. That's not important. But I have the trust, fully trust that I can achieve the Buddha. Not in the one day, but one day I can become a Buddha. I won't be the Buddha in the one day. Within the one day, I don't think I can become a Buddha. But in one day, I will become a Buddha. So that is the thing that for the being a practitioner, you should need the trust, master, trust on your practice, that you need the trust and the faith. Important thing is that when you have the trust, when you have the faith on your practice, you can practice much better. Common term, it called the self-confidence. Self-confidence is not trusting on the self. Self-confidence is the trusting on the believing on your own action, what you are doing the right thing. When you have a trust or faith on your own action, that's called the self-confidence, okay? That thing. Now, this is the more like, traditionally the teaching, that's why they talk about the importance of the faith and the devotion, okay? That the reason is that. Now, when you look at a Tantra, now here's the one question comes, what is a Tantra? When you look at it, when you say what is a Tantra, so that's why you have to look, they are the 4 different labels of the Tantra. They will be the 4 labels of the Tantra, 4 labels, okay? When you say the Tantra, you should know they are the 4 labels. First label of the Tantra, it's called the Action Tantra. Action Tantra. Action Tantra is in the Sanskrit term, it's called the Kriya Tantra, Action Tantra, okay? Tantra. Second label, it's called the Performance Tantra. Performance Tantra, Charya Tantra, Sanskrit. Third label, it's called Yoga Tantra. Fourth label is called the highest Yoga Tantra. Okay, they are the 4 labels of Tantra. Okay, Action Tantra, Performance Tantra, Yoga Tantra, highest Yoga Tantra. Now, okay, now the thing is that, okay, that the 4th Tantra, whenever we talk about Tantra, whatever the deities or the Buddhas, when you talk, these old Buddhas come from the 4 different labels of the Buddha, okay? Just look like a Manjushri Buddha, okay? Most of the Manjushri Buddha, the manifestations, most of the Manjushri Buddha manifestations comes from the first level of the Tantra, that is called the Action Tantra, okay? Action Tantra. So now the 4 level, what the difference between the 4 labels of the Tantra, okay? Difference of the 4 labels of the Tantra is that the Action Tantra is that the first label, it's pay in that Tantra, it pay too much importance for the physical external action. I will give you the example. When you are practicing the Manjushri Buddha from the level of the Action Tantra, it's very important to pay the attention to your physical and external action, like offering, setting up the offering. Very nicely setting up the offering. Even when you're offering the water bowl, trying to offer the water balls a very clean water bowl, very pure water. You have to pay too much attention for your external actions. That's why sometimes I used to make the joke, and I used to say, I like the highest yoga tantra. In the highest yoga tantra, they only talks about the inner transformation, perception. Don't worry what is there. Maybe it might be dirt in the water. You may see as a dirt, but perception you have to change. Try to change that perception and try to see the pure. Much easier. Physically, you don't have to do anything. Just everything. You're trying to change inside. Try to clean the mental, some negativity. Try to change the negative things in your mind, not in the external things. So Action Tantra, it paid too much attention, too much importance for the external offerings, external mudras. You know, in the Vajrayana and in the Tantra, when you do that, they have a lot of the hand mudras. Hand mudra, we call the hand mudra. No? Hand mudra, it's a very important from the first Tantra level. It's called the Action Tantra. From the Action Tantra level, it's a very important do all this mudra. From the fourth, the highest yoga tantra, physical, the mudra is not that important. It's more important in the transformation from the inside. They pay more importance. So first Action Tantra paying a more importance for the physical actions and the external action. So that's why it called the Action Tantra. Action Tantra. Now that's why if you see like a Manjushri Buddha statue, Manjushri Buddha, Avalokiteshvara, they are very clean, neat and very clean. These Buddhas, very clean. Feels like they never touch any dust. Now, if you go the highest yoga tantra deity, look like a Yamantaka. I think you have seen the Yamantaka, no? If you look at the Yamantaka deity, oh, wow, it's a very wrathful. Also in the hand, he carry like a bowl filled with the blood. So this. But the one thing, okay, one thing, I want to clarify the one thing. In the highest yoga tantra, in the one important thing you should understand that in the deity, which might be very wrathful and which like having the bowl with the fill of the blood, in the reality, that is not a blood at all. It is symbolizing the blood, okay? Symbolizing the blood means that it is telling us we can transform into our physical, the body into the pure state. And it's a symbolizing. All these are symbols, okay? Symbols like a Yamantaka. He's having the buffalo head. These also symbolizing, okay? Buffalo head, and he's having a 2 horn. That is symbolizing the 2 truths. Okay? Everything is just like a symbol. We should know that it is not like, we can see like a Yamantaka having a buffalo head. But in the reality, it's not a buffalo head at all. It's a symbolizing, okay? 2 horn symbolize the 2 truth, and 4 like he's having a 16 feet. 16 feet is symbolizing the 16 emptiness. All this is symbolized. They have all this. He's physically form and the physically appearance are symbolizing the lot of the the practices. Okay. Anyway, so sorry for jump from the topic. So okay. So thank you. Today I will stop here. Okay. Now I'll leave for the few minutes for the question answer sessions. Okay. If you have any questions, so you can raise the questions. Okay. And the next session I will continue from the performance tantra, and so we'll go on. Okay. Okay. Thank you. If you have any question, you can ask me the questions. Okay.
Rinpoche, I have a question.
Yeah. Sure. Tell me.
You'd say that one of the meanings of Tantra was to transform negative perceptions into pure perceptions. I don't understand what perceptions are. Okay, great. Okay, so changing the perception here, it means that, okay, just look at it, okay? Okay, so now look at that, okay? So when you look at, okay, things like that, okay? When you look at the flower, okay? When you look at the flower, okay? When you look at a flower, rose flower, and when you look at the throne, you know, what you call the throne, no? Throne in the rose flower, yes. Your perception will be totally different.
Rose, you will generate the more like and the love toward the lawn. Like towards the rose flower. Throne, you will generate the dislike. But you have to accept, because once you want the rose, you have to accept the throne also, but you will not like, you will generate the dislike. That is the perception. That is the perception, that what you are having is you are differentiating the rose and the throne. Big difference, differentiating it. One thing that you like and the one thing that you dislike, number one. Number two is that when you look at your friends and the person whom you dislike, your perception is very different. Person whom you like, you see that person as the perfect. The person whom you dislike, you see that person as a very imperfect. Your perception towards a very different. So Vajrayana, what we are saying is that the Tantra, changing the perception toward all the sentient beings, seeing all of the sentient beings are exactly perfect. So that's why in the practice, when you take the initiation, in the practice, you have to visualize yourself as a Manjushri Buddha and your friends, every sentient beings, you have to visualize as a Manjushri Buddha. It is the first step to teach you changing the perception toward the whole the sentient beings. Because of the most of the problems in our lives comes from our perception. And the second thing is that whatever today's what you are having the perception, it might be not there tomorrow. It will change. But we trust too much on what we see and what we hear. Even what we are saying the very wrong, but still we trust so much what we see. So that's the thing, is that all what we are saying, we are seeing a lot of the things very wrongly, very negatively. So when you see the things very negatively, then you will live with a negative environment. When you see everything is very positive, then you will live with a very positive. So that's why the Tantra is saying that changing the perception from the once you see the negative things, when you practice, then you will see everything as a very positive. Okay, that's the thing. Okay, any other questions? Yeah.
Rinpoche, it's Ellen.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
I wanted to know if the king that requested the first Tantra, if he actually became enlightened.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. King become he got enlightenment. Yeah, he did. Because he was a very intelligent. So that's why the Buddha gave him the Tantra teaching very secretly. That also the second reason. So many of the Buddhists in the Buddhist tradition could not accept that Tantra, because Buddha gave very secretly to that king, because the Buddha saw that king as a very intelligent. So he gave the Tantra teaching and the king got the enlightenment. That's why king got him. So that's why the second criteria for the Vajrayana practitioner, you should be very intelligent. So I always make a one for fun, and I always used to say the one thing, whoever want to practice the Buddhism, two people can success in the Buddhist practice. Two people, especially the Tantra, two people. One is intelligent, second is the crazy. These two people can, whether you should be the very intelligent, whether you should be the crazy. Okay? Because there's a one very funny saying in the Vedas, funny saying, difference between the genius and the crazy. When the world accept you, even you are being the crazy, when your world accept you, that means now you become a genius. When the world don't accept you, even you are a genius, then you are crazy. Okay, they're saying like this. Okay, anyway, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. And today we'll stop here. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thanks everyone for coming.